Welcome to the Nevis newscast for Wednesday, December 16th, 2020. I am Bronte Swanston Hendrickson. Premier of Nevis and Minister of Finance in the Nevis Island Administration, NIA, the Honourable Mark Brantley, noted that the NIA will implement various expenditure reduction measures beginning in January 2021.
As an initial short-term measure, to align our expenditure with our projected revenues for the new fiscal year, my Cabinet has approved the implementation of the following expenditure reduction measures with effect from January 1st, 2021. 1. The temporary suspension of overseas travel for all public servants, including members of Cabinet, unless these travels are fully funded by third parties. 2. The reduction of the monthly travel allowance payable to all public servants, including members of Cabinet, by 50%. 3. The temporary suspension of the payment of increments to all civil servants. 4. The deferral of any requests for promotion of officers or upgrade of their salaries and wages. In addition, we will defer the employment of any new officers to the public service. Where officers have exited the service, we must first seek to reorganize duties among existing staff before employing replacement officers. These short-term, and I emphasize short-term measures, will have an immediate impact on our fixed monthly commitments, bringing them within reasonable limits as we await the economic recovery in our main sectors.
He noted, however, that these measures will be temporary. Premier Brantley was speaking during his budget presentation in the Nevis Island Assembly on Tuesday, December 8th, 2020. The Ministry of Health in the Nevis Island Administration, NIA, has been gifted a brand new vehicle from the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, at a virtual handing over ceremony at the Emergency Operations Center in Long Point on December 11th, 2020. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Shalisa Martin-Clark, described the Toyota Rush SUV as a significant contribution to the critical operations of the ministry.
One of the key challenges we have, more specifically in public health as it relates to surveillance, is transportation. Transportation is a supportive service in the delivery of health care, and the lack of transportation can impact how, when, and where we provide those services. Transportation is also a critical part of many of our officers' daily work routine. This became even more apparent with the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic here in country, when we were forced to either rent vehicles or borrow vehicles from other departments for use in our surveillance activities. Through the handing over of this vehicle, the ministry will be able to support the efforts of the public health team, particularly in the area of contact tracing and vector control, as we not only have to contend with COVID at this time, but also the threat of dengue and other vector-borne diseases. We are indeed grateful to the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, for purchasing this much-needed vehicle.
PAHO, World Health Organization, WHO, representative to Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, Dr. Yetadis Gebri, noted that since January 2020, the Pan American Health Organization has been engaging with St. Kitts and Nevis to determine the level of preparedness and provide training for healthcare and other frontline workers for COVID-19. He said in preparation for the management of COVID-19, the NIA had included a vehicle as part of the list of needed supplies and equipment to strengthen the capacity of surveillance officers. Dr. Yetadis said he was pleased to be part of the handover process of the vehicle to the Ministry of Health in Nevis, which is intended to complement the local resources being expended on the management of the virus. He also pledged that PAHO would continue to work hand in hand with the Ministry of Health. Also present at the ceremony were Junior Minister of Health, the Honorable Hazel Brandy Williams, and Medical Officer of Health and Chair of the NEMIS COVID-19 Task Force, Dr. Judy Nisbet. Members of the public who wish to clear goods at the Long Point Port as of Tuesday, December 15th, 2020, will have additional time to do so, thanks to the extended hours by the Customs and Excise Department. Assistant Comptroller attached to the Customs and Excise Department, NEMIS Division, Roger Fifield, made the announcement when he spoke to the Department of Information on December 14th, 2020.
So our new operating hours at the Long Point Port would be from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. That's an extension of 1.5 hours. We want to make a special appeal. We know that this is COVID time, so we want all to adhere to all of the COVID-19 protocols that have been established. You would enter the gate, of course, and the security would do what they have to do at the gate. You would be allowed to come down, limited number of persons at a time, and there is a tent on the ramp that has already been erected, and that it would be the waiting area. The port officials, they would have a security there, and they would allow limited persons into the warehouse as time goes by as necessary.
As for the other customs outstations, Fifield explained that their service hours remain the same. In related news, a senior officer at the Customs and Excise Department, NEMIS Division, is reminding the public of an important procedure they must follow when goods are being cleared. Assistant Comptroller Roger Fifield, attached to the division, told the Department of Information that there are critical documents necessary for clearing goods on behalf of others.
I just want to take this opportunity to remind you, the general public, also of the authorization form. If you are unable to clear your package and you want someone to clear it on your behalf, we're asking you kindly to send a note to the customs, or you can go on to the customs website www.skncustoms.com, and the permission slip is on there that you can download and you complete it. We're also asking you to provide the customs with a picture ID of yourself. That's a government issued picture ID. Of course, one that is valid and one that bears your signature. And the person who is clearing your package to, they are also required to bring also a valid government issued picture ID.
Fifield also addressed the process the Customs Department is using to determine the fees to be paid on packages due to the federal government's Christmas concessions on some imported goods.
If you order a cell phone, it comes in and your cell phone costs $300. What we will do at the customs, will subtract the $200 your allowance, and so you now would be paying based on $100. The taxes and duties would be levied on $100. So that's how that works. Now, just to explain further, because I know lots of persons would have been calling the customs and asking these questions. You know, how does that allowance really works? Now, how it works, it is per shipment. It is not per piece. Now, you may have a particular shipment that may have 10 pieces or 3 pieces. Now, you would not get the exemption on each of the piece. The 8 pieces or the 10 pieces, or how many ever, that would be your shipment. And so the total CIF, the cost, insurance, and freight would be added, and then the $200 would be subtracted from that. So it is per shipment and not per piece. But of course, if you import this week, you import next week, or when you import, that is fine, because it is per shipment and not per piece.
Assistant Comptroller in the Customs and Excise Department on Nevis, Roger Fifield. And that's it for this edition of the Nevis Newscast. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, I am Bronte Swanston Hendrickson. Thank you for viewing.
At a loss as to what's going on in Nevis? Tune into NNC on NTV. Don't worry if you don't have cable either. NNC will bring the news to you wherever you are. Facebook and Facebook Live. YouTube and YouTube Live. NevisTVOnline.com. Roku app, NTV mobile app, Smart TV, Apple TV, and any other IPTV platforms. NNC.